Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us again today at Sierra Rec Now Podcast. It's your host, Charlie Pankey, with Sierra Rec Magazine. We thank you so much for taking your time today to check out the Sierra. We hope the Sierra is within your future and that you're ready for a great holiday season here in the mountains. We had no snow for about a week, but we hear snow might be coming on the 16th, 17th, somewhere around there. So we're getting excited and all ramped up for the holiday seasons. And I'm excited about today's show. We've been talking about holiday traditions for the last couple of weeks on the show, and we're going to keep that theme going. And we're going to head up north, kind of again north, a little east of me here in Carson City today, up to the historic town of Virginia City. So stick around for the show. It's going to be a blast to talk Comstock on the for Christmas on Comstock or Comstock Christmas. I'll have Todd explain it to you. Have a great guest here today. But before we get started today, we can't do any of this without our sponsors here at the Carson Valley, our home base for all of our adventures, our travel, just living that mountain lifestyle here in the Carson Valley, our wide open spaces. So if you could take a listen to this, that'd be great. So, oops, see, I got hit. I always do this wrong. Let me do this again here. Hold on. All right, let me show the preview here. There's a way of bringing them up on screen. This is that newbie technology. There you go, live. Boom. And now I'll hit play. Well, Carson Valley, if you're listening, I'm sorry about my age showing there, my technology a bit. But we do love living here in the Carson Valley and all the access it gives us to the mountains and different historic towns around here that we get to play in. And like I said, today we're super excited. Virginia City is literally about 15 minutes from my house. I go up there a couple times a year. Usually any tourists or guests that come to town, they all want to go to Virginia City and play and see the historic establishments today. So Comstock and Comstock Christmas, I'm going to say that wrong and I'll have Todd introduce it, is an exciting time. It's one of those towns that dresses up and just does it right. So our guest today, Todd Tuttle, is the director, well, not a director, he's with the tourism board there in Virginia City. We're glad to have you here, Todd.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Glad to be here.
And so you're telling me it's a bluebird sky in Virginia City today.
We have got some beautiful weather. You know, that crisp mountain air that you really love to high. A lot of people don't really realize that we sit at 6,200 feet, the same elevation as Lake Tahoe. And so we get that great mountain air. And right now, a beautiful blue sky and some comfortable weather for this time of year. So we're excited about it.
Absolutely. You actually just made up one of my favorite points that it's hard to visualize here living in the Carson Valley, is that at 6,200 feet, the same level Lake Tahoe, is how in the world they get those logs from the Carson Range over to Virginia City, and going down and back up, and going because there's no chute that goes straight across, right?
No, it would have been a great feat if somebody would have figured that one out. So between the Teamsters hauling it from the valley as it got down into Carson, coming down from Spooner and of course the Flume Trail work and all that, and then hauling it up here, and of course the V&T as they come into being to be able to haul that up. And again, I sit on top of all of that lumber underneath of me. So what great trees used to be sitting there around the valley is now supporting the mine works and part of our whole town. What's made it work?
Absolutely, and I've been on some of the mine tours there. At least it's one of those things you just kind of have to go experience to understand the hard work that those miners had to go through to get that ore out. I mean, and the fact that you still can go down there and see these small holes. And I hate when they turn the light off, Todd. I'll be honest with you. When they turn the light off, I go, I do not want to be down in that hole in Virginia City. So,
a lot of people come out here to visit, and the first thing they do when they walk into the visitor center, or I meet them on the street, is say, well, what should we do now that we're here? And of course, the number one thing is say, visit a mine. That's what made this place what Absolutely. It is today. And, a lot of people say, well, I'm claustrophobic, or I'm afraid of the dark, or will it freak me out? And of course, they say, it's a pretty wide open experience. It's a chance to see something that you probably won't be able to experience later as time goes on. So give it a shot. And if it's not comfortable for you, it's always easy to come back out. But most people, they go through it and they come out and they say, man, that was a great experience.
It is a great experience. I 100%. Just, the darkness is, it's like it takes a certain kind of person in that dark. Well, one of the things I've always loved about Virginia City is you guys put on amazing events, right? You've really you've really embraced the idea of being a tourist town and putting on things that attract people. Every people ask me, "Hey, what are some great events around our area?" And I always bring up the camel races, the outhouse races, the cars on Virginia Street. You go up there. Friends of mine and I just went up and we're just driving a 6 Mile Canyon with some sports cars that we have access to. Is just a beautiful place to go experience. You guys have your Christmas events that you guys do annually, and I said it wrong. So is it Comstock Christmas or is it Christmas at the Comstock? How do I say that right?
It's actually Christmas on the Comstock.
On the Comstock. There you go.
When we talk about that whole thing, and yeah, it's a tradition that's been growing with quite a number of families all throughout the area. They come from all over. At Great Victorian Field, most of the merchants all decorate the fronts of their shops. And of course, we decorate the streets themselves and kick it off with, like most other towns, a tree lighting. And then we have some unique performances. So we have a few groups that come off that perform in Piper's Opera House. That's become a huge tradition.
I was just seeing the Nutcracker's coming up there a couple weeks, right?
The adventures of a Victorian Virginia City Nutcracker version.
Gotcha.
So we want to talk. It's Nutcracker versus the Tommy Knockers. As you know, the little gremlins that live down in the mines, a lot like gnomes, it cause a little bit of mistrip. Had to become part of this, and so we've got a unique Virginia City flair to it, and we're excited to see how it unfolds. It'll be a great little performance.
That's cool. And you guys just had your Christmas parade this last weekend, which always concludes with fireworks. You guys have a good crowd up there, and
yeah, we actually have it on 2 weekends. We like to really make sure that everybody has an opportunity. There's a lot that happens around this valley, whether you're, you're down in Carson Valley or whether you're up in Reno and Sparks or they're in Carson City. There's so many things that go on during the holidays. So we thought, well, let's just have an opportunity to come one weekend or the other. So we have it on 2 different weekends, the first and second weekends of December. And we have the holiday parade of lights. And so if you've got a car and you want to decorate it with some lights, drive down C Street. That happens at 5 o'clock. Just happened. And then, of course, on the 14th, it'll happen again. And so we have a lot of people that go to the hometown Christmas parade, and then they come up here. And so they get a chance to be in 2 different parades. And then we have fireworks to follow, usually at 6 o'clock. And this year, the first week, the one that we just had last weekend, was fireworks. And this one coming up on the 14th, we'll have I'm excited, a drone show, something unique to the area. And, you've seen all of those great formations that they make.
They're incredible, right? I mean, if you've never seen a drone show, I mean, they really are so unique. You think, I remember the first time, Todd, I saw a drone show, go, oh, you know what? I'm a firework naturalist. I just bring me my fireworks, and I go, there's no way it can impress me. And I was blown away. I was actually at Pittsburgh Stadium where they did it at a sports one, and I went,
oh, really?
No way! It was the things they could do and how fast they got in different shapes, just incredible. And I can imagine Virginia City and the mountain sky that you guys have, and how dark it gets up. That's going to be a pretty unique show.
Yeah, we're excited about it. It's going to be put on by Sky Elements, so the same company that was on America's Got Talent this year.
Oh, okay.
I think they took 3rd place. I have to double check that, but they placed pretty well and came up with some pretty great images. And the whole thing is just mesmerizing as you watch these lights move around. And if you remember Third Encounters or the encounter show back in the 70s.
Yeah, 70s, right?
Encounters of the third kind.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. You're just watching these light movements and things going around. And then you add on to that backdrop, that 100-mile view that we have off from the mountains. We look off towards Dayton and our dark sky. So with the stars that are out there and where the moon setting is going to be, it's going to be just a magical weekend, contributing to all the things we do for the holidays and festivities. So should be fun.
You guys always do a pretty bang up job with parking up there because you guys such a tight street and got crowds. You have the parking down at the kind of the fairgrounds there, if you will. For this weekend coming up for parade and stuff. What should families know about traveling into Virginia City? About what time they should get there? What's parking look like? I mean, you got any tips for everybody?
Yeah. So right off the bat, we have the shuttle that moves all throughout the town. And so depending on what parking lot you want to park at, if you can't find a spot right there on C Street or along C Street, one street up the hill is B Street. So if you enjoy walking down the hill and then back up after the event, go to B Street, and there by the county courthouse, plenty of parking up there.
Okay.
And the other way is to go down the hill and hike up to the event, and then after the show's over, then it's a downhill walk down to the cars. And on B Street or D Street and Mill, there's a parking lot. There's also a number of little parking lots down on D Street itself. Yep. Over by St. Mary's on the mountain, the Catholic Church, there's a lot of parking that surrounds that. And down also by the train station. Don't forget about all the train activities going on.
I was going to say, I was going to get there next because I know that's very popular, although most of the trains for like out of the Carson City are sold out. I think, for most of the season already. It's such a popular event, but you can still get rides there in Virginia City, I think.
In Virginia City for the Canacane Express or the Train of Lights. And but call in advance because those do sell out.
That's a very popular thing here locally and for tourists. So,
but we also have a shuttle that then operates all through that time. So as you come up, that shuttle will get you up the hill or down the hill and then back to the parking later. And of course, it's always nice to be able to just walk and enjoy the atmosphere. We recommend coming up early, come up around 2 or 3 o'clock, do a little Christmas shopping. There's some great stores, some unique shopping that's up here. And then you can also find a place. We've designated some parade viewing locations.
Okay.
So bring a chair, set it up there along the side of the street so you can watch as it comes by. And then, of course, viewing the drone show. The parade usually ends at about 5:30, 5:45, and then the drone show starts at 6. We've got a great sound system that we set up for the whole event. So love the music, love the atmosphere, everything that goes on.
So the drone show you guys are running, are they going to run that right above C Street? Are you going to be able to sit at C Street and just kind of look up? Or is there going to be a viewing area that's over, that looks over the horizon a little bit?
It'll be looking out over the horizon. It'll come up from the same location that we launch our fireworks from. And so it'll be up in that about same location. There at the parking lot next to the Bucket of Blood across the street from the Delta Saloon, a great place to view it. There's a number of the merchants that have some beautiful decks that look out over D Street. Mm-hmm. So if you're at the Roasting House or you're over at the Bonanza Cantina, all of those have decks. Some of them offer private seating. Call in advance to make sure you can get a spot. But those are the perfect places to be. Also, you can park down on D Street. There's a lot of parking that's down on D Street that'll be kind of underneath where the drones will be coming up. So they'll be a little bit higher in the horizon for you as opposed to straight across from C Street. But anywhere you're going to be, you're going to have a great view.
And it's a great point about coming early too, because besides the Christmas shopping, which unique shops, right? We're not talking about going to, the mall to the places you can buy anywhere. These are all very unique shops with very historic references and a little tourist flair to some of them, but really fun stuff. But the other thing in town that you guys have is there's so many different ways to look at museums, right? Different historical facts. You were talking about the church. The church is usually open, has a great museum. Historic museum.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems as far as when we talk about museums that they're not really the old stuffy places that there at St. Mary's on the Mountain. Underneath is the museum associated with the religious aspects of Virginia City and Nevada as it grew. A lot of people in town are surprised to learn about the Mad Monks and some of the things that went on up here as they changed. And of course, the Way It Was Museum is the classic of all. And out at the south end of town, the Fourth Ward School, they've got some wonderful displays. You were talking about getting the lumber over here from the Sierras to support the mines. And one of the struggles that they have is the water that occurred naturally coming out in the mines was tainted with arsenic. And so it was almost impossible to drink. So in order to bring water over, they brought it from Lake Marlette. Up above Lake Tahoe, down through Washoe Valley, and up over Mount Davidson, and then here into Virginia City. And how they engineered that was recognized as one of the top 8 engineering feats of the world at the time, competing with the Eiffel Tower, competing with the construction of the unsinkable ships like Titanic and Britannia. and that welding technique or riveting technique that they developed. You can learn a lot about that over at the Fourth Ward Schools.
Yeah, I've been through that. You're right. That's a great spot for hidden treasures, right? And,
Yeah.
and of course, from a literary standpoint, we all know that that's kind of one of the home bases of Mark Twain, and some of the stuff that he wrote while he was in this region. There is that still a pretty popular place for tourists to go check out, in the old press
Yeah.
building there.
As he was here, coming out in the early 1860s, departing by 1864. And it's here where he establishes literary background. It's here where he establishes and uses for the first time Mark Twain, as opposed to Samuel Clemens and some of the other great pen names that he used. But the territorial enterprise was placed in a number of places. It was down on B Street. It was up on B Street. And then, of course, it settles into the location on C Street, where it's always nice to come and visit. And everything about Virginia City relates back to some of the experiences Samuel Clemens had, Mark Twain. Yep. And we're happy to be part of that heritage.
That's a lot of fun. So getting back to Christmas this weekend, anything else that's going on between now and the New Year for you guys? I think I read some stuff about gingerbread houses, and I saw the McKay Mansion has a few different things going on as well. Is anything unique there?
Yeah, a lot of the vendors have some unique things going on. The Mackey Mansion, of course, has the candlelight tours that go through on a Christmas flair. When you think about how these rich and famous, some of the people that were here, the Big Four, the Silver Kings, richest men in the world, they're the ones that helped build Nob Hill, the mansions that they built were part of the Huntington and those that were involved with the Central Pacific Railroad. It's nice to see that Victorian display and how that worked out. And the gingerbread house. This is new this year, and a lot of the merchants have put gingerbread houses in their facilities. You can get a map here at the visitor center, and you walk around, take a look at some of these intricate pieces that have been made. We're pretty tickled pink about it. It's a neat thing to see. And of course, there's the shopping Believe Again Christmas exposure. So anywhere you go and buy or do some shopping, you come back to the visitor center, and here you can enter in for a 2-night stay with some activities. So if you've never been to Virginia City and want to spend the night and be able to get out and experience some of the adventures here, that's a great way to win a nice prize. And of course. Go ahead.
I mean, a lot of people don't know that. I mean, what are some of the stay in Virginia City options when people want to come be a guest and kind of experience the city on a longer term basis?
So, of course, one of the largest facilities we have is the Silverland Inn and Suites. Mm-hmm. So great views looking out the back there. It's just down on E Street, just up from the main area, going back and forth with the shuttle. There's the bed and breakfast. So you've got the Cobb Mansion. You've got the Sugarloaf Motel. There's just so many unique facilities for you to stay in that, take a little while to name them all and describe them all the way out. But, if you haven't had that experience, it's a great place to be. A few of them carry some of the connotations of a little bit haunted, if you want to use that term. We like to say that there's some friendly spirits that have just stuck around for a while.
I like it. Spirits that drifted over from the bucket of blood back in the day, huh?
Another great place to stay is Tahoe House here on C Street. If you get one of the rooms with the balconies looking over C Street during the special events, it's really a neat place to be because you get that whole flair of the activity and the fun and excitement of the events.
Mm-hmm. So really a lot of nice places. It's also really cool about how the local residents up there have, they kind of buy into the historical value. Victorian, you think, Nevada City does a great Victorian, Christmas. I mean, I can just imagine all the costumes. Because I always think about the summer events when I go up there, and people walk around in the cowboy costumes, or ladies dressed up as ladies of the night, or different themes that are going on. And I can imagine Christmas going to be pretty special.
Yeah, same thing. We love our Victorian wear, and of course our Western motif that goes with it. And so, at any time when you're up here, you usually see a few that are on the boardwalks, out for a stroll, certainly open for pictures and kind of making that nice little flair to the holidays part of it. The nice thing for us that kind of dress up in the Victorian wear is it's a little cooler. So on some of the hot summer days, that Victorian wear, it's pretty warm. So.
It's pretty warm, absolutely. I imagine what's a Christmas gunfight look like in Virginia City? I guess I need to come up and see what that looks like. Is they're always having some type of gunfight or?
They're always out showing off a little bit of their hardware now and then. Yeah. So
yeah, that's very, very fun. Very fun. So for recommendation wise, Todd, you've been up there for a while. Family's coming up. Let's say you got a couple of kids and you want to spend the afternoon up there. Recommended place to eat or things not to miss is if you're before the parade.
Of course, always come up if you want to give a little bite to eat, whether it's at the Palace or the Bonanza Cantina or Cafe Del Rio or up at the Canvas Cafe or Crazy Calamities. All of them have some great food, some great places to eat. Also, keep in mind about going over to the Gold Hill where you have the Crown Point Restaurant. They have a wonderful menu after the evening. So there's whether you're coming up early or going out late, the menus that are here are great, and we got some great offerings. And of course, with the kids, there's the barrels of candy. So you certainly stock up on all of that Christmas candy that you want to give out. There's also a number of the restaurants and saloons that offer some bar food, if you want to call that. But man, it's delicious. And of course, Red Dog Saloon and the pizza and things that go on. So if you bring the kids up, you want something quick, Red Dog's a great place to go. If you want to sit down, have some kid meals, Palace has a number of selections. And same with Bonanza Cantina, some great selections there. So, and don't forget ice cream. I know it's a little cool, but you can't come to Virginia City without some ice cream. So Grandma's Fudge and the Fudge, or up at Red's, great to have. Peanut brittle, caramel apples, still
just
all
love
available.
Walking by that store with that smell about midday. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and the nice thing is every once in a while the owner there at the Grandma's Fudge, he'll dish out some of the best thick hot chocolate you've ever had. I don't know if you've ever enjoyed it.
I have not. That sounds really good.
Hot chocolate from Grandma's Fudge.
Grandma's Fudge.
That's one of the little things I'd look at. We were mentioned, if you don't mind me throwing in, the unique gifts that a lot of us have family that live other places, and we want to share what we have. As you know, semi-precious stone here in Nevada is white turquoise. Mm-hmm. And most of our jewelry stores carry a huge selection of those unique pieces.
Oh, really? Okay.
The artisans and craftsmanship that go into it. If you're looking for just a whole variety, that's a great place to come in to check out some recommendations. If you're looking for something unique or special,
that's fantastic.
Nevada pearls is what we call them, from
Nevada
the white
pearls.
Yeah.
I like it. So just real quick here, believe it or not, Todd, we're about end of our show here. We got a few more questions for you, but I want to make sure we get the information out for this weekend, because I know, this drone show is something I was really looking forward to. So guests should show up probably a little early. There's going to be a parade that'll last till between 5 and 5:30, or 4:30 and 5:30. Yeah,
it starts at 5 o'clock and goes to about 5:30, and then the drone show starts at 6.
But bring some chairs for along the highway. Yeah. You got some places reserved for people to put chairs out.
Yeah, so they're along street side, along the boardwalk. A great place to be able to set up, to be able to watch the drone show. To watch the parade as it goes by.
Yep.
And then following that, the drone show. If not, walk over to the edge by the parking lot. It's great views over there. So it should be a great fun time.
I'll ask you one more last question, because I know here in the Carson Valley, which we just had our holiday parade, people had their chairs out first thing in the morning, and then they came back down. And, so is that historically, people get up there early, and get your chairs put down, then go shopping, have some lunch, have some fudge?
Yeah, there's a few traditionalists that we see those chairs set up here quite early, and they sit there ready for the parade to come by. Kids are ready to collect the candy as it's tossed out, and awesome. You know how those parades go. It's just part of that festive activity.
Is this the first year you guys are doing the two? Or
no,
have you done two before?
We've actually done the 2 weekends for quite a number of years now.
Okay, did not know that.
It's become kind of a tradition. So, it's kind of nice. So
very nice.
Come up from all over.
Very good. Well, Todd, I don't know how much you know about Sierra Rec, but we are an outdoor recreation community. My readers and listeners, we're always talking about hiking and biking and fishing and everything like that. I know 6 Mile Canyon, and big popular with guys who like to ride their bikes and their cars and stuff. Outdoor recreation in Virginia City. If somebody's going to come for the weekend, say past Christmas, what kind of outdoor recreation do you recommend in the area?
Well, of course, I really enjoy being in the mountains in the backcountry. So as you go over to the hills to the south of us, particularly where the combination shaft is and the consolidated shafts, there's some old mine works back there that you can access either on a small HOV or on foot. And
Okay.
so to get back in that area, we've developed a number of back trails that are becoming more and more popular. So also the mountain biking world, being able to come up the old tow road if the gates are open, that's a great experience to come around through. And there's just so many places to experience the history. Virginia City's just a touch of it.
Yeah.
That to hike up Mount Davidson and see the views from up
Mm-hmm.
there. You're looking straight across over to Slide Mountain. If you haven't taken in that view on the recreation for the Sierras, it's
I
kind of
actually
like
haven't.
climbing
That's
Telescope Peak and looking over to see Mount Whitney. You get a beautiful view.
kind of the same
So
thing, right? So I'm gonna have to put that on my list. I have not done that personally. Added that to my repertoire, so I'll have to add that one to it. It's probably good to do in spring or fall when it's not hot, but
yeah,
got to be a great trip up there. So,
yeah.
you guys have snow up there yet this year? You guys, has it been
We've
melted
had
up
a
there?
little bit. So if
Okay.
you're on the north sides, we still have it sticking around. Anything that's in the shadows, it's still there.
Okay.
So once it comes in, we don't get nearly the amount of snow, of course, that the Sierras do.
Right.
Luckily, they shadow us out, so we get to keep moving around a bit.
Keeps life
Um,
livable.
yeah,
Very
so
good.
it's pretty nice.
Well, Todd, I usually end my show with 3 questions. They're always the same 3 questions for everybody. So we're gonna tailor these a little bit for Virginia City here a little bit today, and let you do that too. I'm not sure how much of an outdoor man you are. It sounds like you get out a little bit. Uh, but us guys who like to go outdoors, we'll usually have a bag packed. We're ready to go on our next adventure. Okay, so let's just assume you have a bag packed, or you're going to spend a weekend somewhere in the Sierra. Where would you be heading and why? The cat
Well,
goes crazy behind
you
me.
know, I love the trails down to the south of us a little bit. You
Okay.
know, where Blue Lakes, and if you take Blue
Yep.
Lakes up by Granite Lake and over the ridge down into a little place called Grouse Lake. It's
Oh,
one of
I
my
absolutely
favorite
love Grouse
places.
Lake. Yeah, beautiful.
Just really quiet, backcountry, some good fishing, and you come in a little bit later in the year. There's been years I've been up there and completely skunked, but other days I've got enough to make a nice little dinner meal, and
Yeah,
so I love that.
that's a great place. I love that out there in Alpine County. That's only it's less than an hour for
Yeah,
probably from where you're at, right? Very good.
yep.
Perfect. All right, so you go out and you're adventuring all day long, whether you're in Virginia City working or you're out in Blue Lakes area. Favorite meal when you come off of a day out in the outdoors? Like a burger guy, steak, shake.
Oh,
What's the meal you have to go to?
I also like to do a lot of sailing, so I spend some time
Oh,
on Lake Tahoe,
okay,
and whether I'm coming up from the backcountry or whatever, I like to go to Beacons, and
okay.
Beacons has some calamari that is phenomenal, and that's one
Calamari.
of my little go-tos. It's just a great treat. They got some great burgers there, and of course, sitting by the seashore and listening to everything lapping on, and usually
Yeah,
live music, so I enjoy that. But you
calamari
know,
at the Beacon. I
Red's
haven't heard that one.
395 and is also a great place to go, or to come up here to Virginia City and get a an enchilada at the Bonanza Cantina.
Okay.
Those are just fabulous. If you like good Mexican
I
food,
do.
I really
Enchilada at the cantina. I'm gonna remember that.
I'm up
I have
there.
not tried that when I was up there.
They
I
have
tend to.
a chili relleno to die for. So
That's my wife loves that. See, there you go.
yeah,
Now you're speaking my language there. All right, the last one, Todd. Then everybody has their like favorite piece of gear that they just don't leave home without. Like I'm a map guy. I always take a paper map almost everywhere I go. I hate being lost. What is your like go-to piece of gear that's always with you when you're in the outdoor adventure world?
I come from an old scouting background, and my grandfather gave me a compass years
Okay,
ago, and I take that with me everywhere I go, just so I can make orientation where I need to be, kind of know where the peaks are,
nice.
and just be able to kind of point out some star locations and etc. So
Very
I have
good.
a compass.
Old school compass. I like it. So
Cool.
not one of those fancy plastic ones that people that you.
No, no. Mine's the old trackers. You pick it up. You got a sight line and able to
Exactly. My dad
follow
tried to
you.
teach me how to use those as a kid, but for whatever reason, I never fell in love with the compasses. I know how to get around, but the compass has always been it's like I don't know about that. So I got to work on that. So Todd, I thank you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas season up there. I know you guys will turn around, and I think in February you guys do another event around the Valentine's uh, season up there. But it's always got events going in Virginia City. It's a great place to visit. If you're coming from the valley, you're listening to us over the mountain, highly recommend it. If you come over to Carson Valley, Carson City, Virginia City's got to be on the list. The train ride's awesome up there. If you can get a ticket, and like I said, the mine shafts are cool, except they do turn that light off. You got a little hidden secret there, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Be prepared, man.
Yeah.
And anyways, great experience. I'm looking forward to the drone show. I'm gonna try to make it to Saturday. I think that's going to be really cool to see in that environment, especially with your dark skies way up high and that big old view that you have off the ridge there. So we thanks for joining our show today, though, and for giving us the time to share a little bit about Virginia City history.
Great. Thanks, Charlie. Like our slogan says, we've got veins of silver, hearts of gold, and loads of fun. So come on up. Have a good time.
I love it. Love it. And wherever you're at today, if you're listening to our show, we thank you for joining us, for being with us for 30 minutes today. Drive safe. I hope the Sierra's in your future. There is snow on the way. We should have a great Christmas for ski season and just be playing in the mountains. Get your snowshoes on, skis waxed. Come up to Virginia City, have a good meal at the cantina there for some enchiladas, it sounds like. And we look forward to hearing you talking to you next week. Drop down below, share this, like it, share it with your friends. But tell us what your favorite Christmas tradition is. That's our theme for the year, Christmas tradition. Maybe it's going to Virginia City to the Christmas parade at the Comstock. So thanks a lot, Todd. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.